I would just put Hulu documentary.
Framing Britney Spears.
It's called Framing Britney Spears.
Okay. Is it recording already?
It's been, girl.
Oh, sorry.
Expect the unexpected.
I should have done my research before we started.
I remember Lauren telling me a little bit about it and kind of really what it was. And like she just said, it was more like focusing on that whole legal battle with the conservatorship.
Yeah, with her dad.
Yeah, and like it's still valid.
Right, that's what she was telling me too.
Yeah,
and then I told her not to tell me more because I wanted to watch it. Poor Britney.
Should we just wait and watch it and then report back?
Yeah, because I really want to watch it and I really want to talk about it because it's so interesting. But I don't know. I have nothing to say about it. I'm just curious.
Well, like the thing that was more interesting to me was like that it literally is still like binding her.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like her dad still basically runs everything, and now, and now what Lauren was saying is that, he's trying to put things in place that like if she were to pass away, he would get a portion of this, a portion of that. So that's sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's never a good thing when it's legal stuff and family. You know.
I was gonna say yeah, and usually when that's when people tend to get like ruthless, you know, like a family member dies and tears the whole family apart because of the inheritance or whatever.
I've seen that like firsthand.
Yeah.
Somebody passes away and like while we're waiting, you know, for like services to get there or like whatever, people will just go in and be like, oh, well, you know, I have a copy of the will and she left me like jewelry. She left me this. I'm like, can you like just, you know,
have some respect.
Let the body get cold.
Right. I know.
So
yeah, it's sad.
sad.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I think about that with my family. And I know, like, just knowing how my sisters are, I don't know if the families that have gone through that have said this, but like, we wouldn't do that, you know? Like, we are such a close-knit family. We wouldn't let it tear us apart, you know? But I mean, I'm sure a lot of the families say that, but I don't know. I just know our family wouldn't do that. It just makes me sad, you know? And it's kind of disgusting at the same time. But yeah, that's what that whole Free Britney thing was about, is that her dad pretty much owns her and can make all her decisions for her.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know what I thought that Free Britney hashtag was about. I thought it was like
you're talking recently or like way back in the day?
Just over the past, I've seen it over the past couple of years pop up every so often.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah, because it's still a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and I never got really into it. I just knew that she went off the deep end and like shaved her head and all that stuff. But from like what Lauren was saying, like she really struggled, you know, paparazzi, and they just would put the vice on her. And
that's the thing too, is being in the spotlight. Like all these people go crazy because they don't have a personal life. They don't have privacy.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but little things that they do get taken out of context and they write whatever they want based on one little action. Stories like, oh, you're
just
a murderer,
like Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, exactly. My boy Morgan Wallen. Exact same thing happened to him.
That's so trash. Well, so I've been like keeping up on the news about all that, and so it hasn't been the first time that he's really gotten in trouble, like with like his fans or you know, like he's made news probably 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months. And I didn't know that.
What did he do? Yeah, I never heard about it.
Before that, he got kicked off, or not kicked off, but he got canceled by SNL.
Why? What did he do?
So I guess he just posted something on his social media. He was making out with all kinds of girls, like hanging out, and he wasn't masked. And they were like, "Oh, that's a violation of our contract or something." And
whatever.
Yeah. So
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to freaking hear it.
I was like,
from any of these people, I don't want to hear it.
So he was supposed to be the musical guest,
right?
And they canceled him. And then I think so they ended up bringing him back a couple weeks later, and they made a skit out of it. But
they did bring him back though.
Yeah, they brought him back.
Oh, that's crazy.
And they made a skit out of it. But it was, and then
so they were making fun of it.
And then before that, he got arrested for public intoxication. But I mean,
okay, well that's the thing. I mean, whatever. Yeah.
But that's like.
Was he driving or he was just?
No, I think just public intox. But that's the thing is like we're all human, like you know?
Yeah.
Just crappy that any little thing can, send you off the deep end.
especially nowadays and especially in the spotlight. Like, of course, in the spotlight, even before the past 4, 5, 6 years, if you're in the spotlight, little things like that could happen. But even more so the past 4, 3, 2, you know, all the more recently, it's like you can't do anything.
Well, that's what they were saying. They were like, oh, in light of all the stuff that's been happening, like Black Lives Matter, you know,
Yeah.
Black History Month, like
That comes every year.
I
Which,
know.
I don't know. Like, Justin Bieber has come out and said the N-word in public, and that was before 2020. And
Yeah.
look, you know, he didn't get canceled. Robert Downey Jr., I want to say in 2017, or I don't know. He also came out and said it like on video,
Yeah.
not knowing he was being filmed,
Yeah.
and
Nothing happened.
Yeah, and so like it's a selective outrage. It's like they're only doing it now because that's what the media is telling everyone to be mad about.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
They're not even like, it's a big old virtue signal. Nobody, you know, like if the media didn't come out and say like, hey, because of Black Lives Matter or whatever, you should be mad at Morgan Wallen. Nobody would have been, you know.
Yep.
Some people would have been like, oh, you shouldn't say that. And some people would have been like, yeah, you know, like it's not.
Well, I think it's also important, like, to note that, like, what happened to the days where people would be like, oh, well, it's not what he said, but it's like in the way he said it, you know?
Right.
Like, I don't know, like the F word.
Yeah.
If I'm like, oh, F.
Yeah.
Or it's like F you, like it has two different meanings, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But that word has been deemed like, you know, so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to look at like the context
Of how
like,
he was saying.
Yeah, he's not over there like at a rally, like calling everyone the N word and like, you know,
right.
He's like having fun, drunk,
He was drunk.
and being drunk isn't a reason, but it's like, hey, that's my N word.
Yeah. He was talking about his friend. He wasn't even,
he's like, hey, I got my
black
N-word.
guy, right?
No,
he was
it's
like some other little honky cowboy too, just like him.
Yeah.
And see, like me saying honky, you know, like like just little things like that. If they're so mad, I mean, if the mob is so mad about people being racist, like you guys should cancel me because that's a pretty derogatory term towards white people, right? You know, cracker, like, but there's no outrage for that. It's only towards like the BLM, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement right now, and it's right now, and that's it. Like, there's no other. Oh man, it's just it's frustrating. I love Morgan Wallen too, so I take it personal. You know?
Yeah, so do I. And the fact that like he just released that double album.
So good.
How good it was. There's money to be made and people that unfortunately are not going to be making that money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's like the record label, him, his family, and it's just the things that we should really be taking note of and like harping on. We don't.
It's exactly like,
and
remember
it's like,
back in 2020, they're getting mad at like the cop dog in Paw Patrol. They were mad that he was a police officer. They were getting mad about Aunt Jemima's syrup. Things like, it's like, really? You think these are the issues that need to be addressed right now? Is this going to make the world better? Do you know that there's a lot of people that are in poverty and that are being trafficked right now? You don't think that's more of an issue that we should be outraged about? So what's his name? Chase. He's the cop, right? On Paw Patrol.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, everyone.
I didn't hear that one. That's
2020 stupid. Yeah, that's.
Did you see that skit?
Which
of the Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's?
No.
On SNL.
I don't know why it sounds familiar. Did you try showing it to us on YouTube?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did.
Maybe I didn't pay attention, but it sounds familiar.
she's in front of all the corporate people, and they're like, "Hey, listen, you know, it's not you, it's us." And she's like, "What are you talking about? I'm Aunt Jemima." And then Uncle Ben is just like this, and she's off. I'm getting canceled. So should he. And he's all, mind your business. So mind your business.
I love it.
It's terrible. But they're like, look. Okay, we're gonna have to let Uncle Ben go too. And they're like,
damn it, woman.
Yeah, they're just playing off, you know.
Yeah.
But that's
good
died.
stuff. That would have made me laugh if I had watched it.
It was funny, but I've also been like looking into what people have to say, specifically like radio personnel, like Bobby Bones. He put out he does like country stuff, but he's like, look, I don't like the word, I don't use the word.
Right.
He's like, but I guess he's like, you have to take note that it doesn't look good. Just doesn't look good.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I don't think it should be like an ending type thing, you know?
A career ending
Yeah.
thing, right?
He's like, but I do think it's like you need to go away for a while.
Or you should apologize, which
he did.
Which
He's
he
like,
did,
"Look."
yeah. And then exactly, then don't cancel him. Like he apologized. He cared enough to apologize.
Yeah.
He was drunk. Maybe he could, like.
Well, and that's the other thing is like, okay, he put out, an apology. He's like, look, I need to do better. I should have known better. Whatever, it was like super, super light. But at the same time, like we've had the discussion, like you shouldn't apologize for being human. Yeah, we do some shitty things, and we're gonna continue to do shitty things as a race.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah, exactly.
when you become famous, it doesn't mean you stop being a human.
Yeah,
It's like,
true.
and so people, management or whatever, doesn't make you like less of a human.
Yeah,
They should take note of that too. Like, hey, probably gonna mess up, but like,
yeah.
let's limit these mess ups or whatever, or like, let's try to take care of you. I don't know.
No, that's true. 100% true. And like on the flip side of that, it's like Joe and I were talking about it, and it's everyone. Well, let's assume everyone in this business knew what they were going to when they went into this business. They
Right.
kind of they knew they were going to have a bunch of fans. They knew they were going to, they're making a record. You're going to be famous. They knew going into it, you're in the spotlight now.
Yep.
So you kind of have to watch yourself and stuff like that. But then at the same time, I totally agree with you. That's why I'm like totally 100% on Morgan Wallen's side. I agree with you. Like, yes, he's in the spotlight. Yes, he should have done better. But yes, he's human. Like, he can't be perfect all the time in the spotlight. Like, yeah, he needs to watch his step way more now. Of course, he needs to. He shouldn't have said that. He needs to be way more careful all the time. But I agree. Like, you can't expect him to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're always watching his every move, of course you're going to catch him slipping up.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, and that's perfect that you said that. Like, it was a shitty ass neighbor who had nothing else to do. Like, mind your business.
Right.
And they said he had been like recording him for a long time.
What a jerk.
Like, come on, man.
He's just jealous, trying to get rich by doing nothing. You know?
And he probably got paid really well.
Exactly. It was working, but still, I know that's a crappy thing to do. And especially like I said, I took it personally just because right before all that happened, I really started getting into Morgan Wallen and just, man, he's got a great voice, like a really, really great voice.
Yeah, it's like
he's really talented.
effortless.
Yeah, he is. So, I mean, but it would be different. I'd probably have different feelings if he went out and was like calling some black guy the N-word, mean, maliciously. I'd probably have different feelings. Be like, dude, maybe he shouldn't come back. But in lieu of the situation, like look at everything that he's done. He meant it as an endearing term. He apologized, like he was drunk, all these things, so that's the main reason why. And
well, I look at it like different other like derogatory names, like wetback or cracker or whatever, like
chink.
Yeah, chink, whatever, it's like who's bringing light all the people that use that word wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those words wrong.
Yeah.
So I think it's just it's not okay that we just harp on like this one thing and just keep fueling all this stuff. Like, just live.
It's like I was saying, it's selective outrage.
Yeah.
It's okay for a black guy to call a white guy, you cracker ass honky or whatever, whatever he's going to call him. And that's totally fine. That's not racism. Or is that really not racist? That's racism right there. That's 100% racism. Yeah. But it's okay because it's towards a white guy.
Yeah.
That's what gets me the most mad.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I lost my train of thought, but, yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating to know, like, it's not, if I call a white guy like, oh, you white ass privileged mother effer. Like, that is super, you know, I'm obviously assuming this guy is something he's not, you know,
just based on his skin color.
And like that also rises to that same level. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's crazy.
And I'm glad you see it that way too, because I've not necessarily used that argument, but I've seen it, you know, and like spoken out about it, you know, and then gotten replies or like instant messages or direct messages. People are like, do you realize where the N-word even stems from? And like all those years that, you know, African Americans were put into slavery, and like, do you even know? And I'm like, okay, yes, of course I know. And I'm not trying to shove that away, you know, I'm just like, obviously anyone alive right now, I mean, no one alive right now owned slaves and was a part of that time in history. Right. It's a really dark time in America's history, which of course, like that's like that's the main argument people use towards me, is like that I'm being insensitive and that like you're ignoring their pain. And I'm like, okay, so like I said,
how
no
about
one
Native
alive,
Americans?
And that's what I'm getting to, dude. I'm like, I'm not ignoring it. I'm just saying, look at the people alive now. How many years ago was that? We have moved on quite a lot, you know? No one alive has ever owned a slave, and no one alive has ever been a slave. Yes, our ancestors, definitely, you know, a lot of people's ancestors probably were directly affected by it. Right. And it's a tragedy. And like you said, Native Americans, all the oppression that's happened to them, you know? And then not even them, but Jews and even Asians back in when, you know, a long time ago. And I just, like, you could go on, you know, there's been oppression since the world began because of skin color, because of race, you know, not even just in America, you know, but everywhere. Like I said, ever since the world began, there's been oppression because of skin color. Yep. And it's like, if we keep dwelling on it and we keep just talking about it and we keep blaming certain races for it as a whole, then we're never going to move on. It's like, you can't blame anybody now for what happened, you know, for slavery.
400 years ago.
You can't blame anyone now, you know? Yeah. You can look at a white person and say, hey, your great-great-grandpa owned my great-great-grandpa's family, you know? Yeah. And what's that going to do? What do you expect that guy to say? I'm sorry, that doesn't make, he didn't do anything, you know? Now, that being said, like, I agree. Like, there are some people still in the world today who are racist, you know? Who are racist, not even just against black people, but against Mexicans, but against Asians, anything, you know? And they're just and that's a heart issue, and it's unfortunate, but you can't lump everyone. You can't say, oh, it's because you're rich that you're racist, and it's only all rich white old guys. That's who's racist. Yeah. You can't. That's not fair. Like, it's just dumb, and that's.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on that. One, like you said, if you keep going there and keep making it an issue, then whatever the race can't fully like heal or keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking it to a place where we're no longer, you know, or remotely close to where we were. Yeah. But the fact that it's still a thing and people are making it a thing because they don't want us to forget. Believe me, we know. I know. Yeah. But like, terrible things happen to every race, you know? But I think as a species, we tend to do that. But if we would let things go, I think we would be able to like get to a different place. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's coming from it's all this like hate is stemming from what? From like past lineage. And also to the person who, you know, whoever like calls you out, like, oh, you're being, you know, insensitive.
Quite a few people have called me.
How about, and whether they're like African American or not, say they are. Are you holding your brother, sister, cousin, or whoever accountable just like you are me? That person that probably uses that word freely. Right. Yeah. Even though you're African American, so you're standing for something, but you're not holding everybody to that standard.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, and then it turns into like, oh no, but they're allowed to say it.
Yeah, but they're my friend. I know they don't mean it. How many times have you heard that argument?
Yeah. So I think it's I don't know.
It's
I
and
always
that's
see that.
yeah. I mean, like you're saying, the goalpost is always moving when it comes to social injustice, social justice. The goalpost, it's never enough. Let's say, for example, one goal is like, hey, let's all make sure that we elevate Black voices, you know?
Yep.
And so everyone starts to like be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then they're like, oh, that's not enough. Now you have to only buy from Black entrepreneurs. Okay, I'm going to support them. And then it's not enough. Like, you're not supporting us enough. Like, now you have to denounce like all your white friends. This is just for example, but this is how it is, you know? Okay, like I'm going to. And then they're like, no, it's not enough. You're not supporting us if you really don't come and riot and loot the cities and burn the place down. You know, it's like, it's always changing. And so people that are like virtue signaling, they'll turn on you, you know, like virtue signaling. Like, I know a lot of people too that kind of like jumped on the bandwagon after the George Floyd thing, you know, after he got killed so horribly, it was I remember seeing it for the first time, and I like was brought to tears. And I told my sister, and I was like, "Can you freaking believe this?" I was just that rage, you know what I mean? And I get it, you know, I get it, but it's like I just remember some people right after that happened, like that's when the country started getting divided a little bit in 2020. That's when like the animosity started to happen. I just remember some people that had never advocated for anything like this
Come out of the woodworks.
Yeah. And just to say, and they just started sharing certain things. And it's like, are you just doing this because that's what the media is telling you to be outraged and telling you to do? Or like, do you really care? Like, it doesn't show, you know, in your life. You're just, you're trying to please the mob, you know, you're trying to keep up with the ever-changing goalposts.
And that's what we also do as a species, is we just leech on to like whatever is trending, you know, in hopes that we get a little bit more likes or like a little bit more followers, especially, you know.
Make sure we stay relevant.
Especially if we share a commonality with whatever is happening. So I think that's what happens most of the time. And it's unfortunate because like friendships are lost and things like that, like things that shouldn't happen. But it also is important that if you are going to like support something that you feel strong about, at least do your research and be a little bit educated. I'll be the first to say that if there was somebody that was killed by a police officer, and it was unjustified, like that needs to be taken care of. But at the same time, like I'm going to look into it. I'm going to be educated and let's see really what happened. And that's really what happened for me with George Floyd. Like we kept a close eye as like a law enforcement community because we really wanted to know like what happened, you know? We've dealt with like people under the influence all the time, you know, and it's unfortunate. There's been like several instances where we'll like arrest somebody who's under the influence, we'll transport them, they get medically cleared, and then they die in jail. You know, it's like,
so as a police officer, you're trained.
We're trained to actually use that technique. But it needs to be it needs to be cleaner for sure, you know. The leg or the shin bone should go like across his shoulder blades. Because you really want to just control like his upper back.
So not necessarily over his neck, like right underneath it. Okay.
So like, and it's supposed to be at an angle. So like you put your shin bone, say across this shoulder blade, and it should like go across his back to the other shoulder blade. Not necessarily on the throat, because you don't want to risk, you know,
suffocating.
Choking him out or, you know, breaking something. And then the other important part was that they noted he had no damage to his like larynx and like esophagus. Nothing. No scar tissue or, you know, no abrasions, no nothing.
Which would have been there had he been suffocated by his knee, right? So, see?
Which is important. It's important to know, but that doesn't come to light.
No, only that little snippet of the video. And once they see that video and they become outraged, no one's going to listen to you saying this. Like, no one's going to listen to that evidence. And even like going off of that too, I didn't know about, like, you know, like you were saying, you're trained to kind of put your knee in that spot to control them.
Yeah.
What I had learned diving deeper into like what had happened in George Floyd's history, like he was a criminal, you know, he wasn't like this like outstanding gentleman who did no wrong, you know, like I'm sure he had a family, I think, but
yeah,
he has a history of like gun violence. I guess before he had pointed a gun at a pregnant woman's belly, you know, and like threatened her, things like that. Like he wasn't going down like the, you know,
the best path.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is, like, that being said, nobody should have had to die that way if in fact he was killed from suffocation, you know, asphyxiation. No one should have to die like that. That being said, we should not then turn around and say Black Lives Matter, you know, George Floyd, you know, praise him and write his name in the sky. We should address, like, maybe that police officer needs to be removed from his duty. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
Or retrained,
whatever, you know, maybe that's what needs to happen. But we're turning around and we're making this criminal like a saint, which, you know, that's not right either.
Right.
Like I said, you and I both saw the video and we're just disgusted. It's horrible. Nobody,
Absolutely.
You don't want to see that type of human, you know, that type of human interaction. That's horrible. But to see where he was going, like we're pretty much idolizing criminals, you know?
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah, for
like,
sure.
And that's what they're doing. It's like they're turning it into something it's not.
Yeah. They said he had like 7 different substances in his system.
Yeah.
They said he had like a petty criminal record. Yeah, but he had like some other things that said that he was a little bit violent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And as a police officer, you're just dealing with what you have in front of you, and you just, again, we're all human, so sometimes you're gonna fall short, you know. But you know, we were even looking at it and we were like, okay, he at some point he was not. I mean, once you have him in cuffs, you really have all the control.
Yeah.
So stand him up. You know, maybe he could have just stood him up and like put him in the back of the car. He probably still would have died.
Because like you said, he
was going through like cardiac arrest, you know, and unless you're medical personnel, you really can't do anything. You know, we're just trained to do the bare minimum. But again, it's all about perception. Like keeping him there for, I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes or 20 minutes.
I don't
something
remember.
crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But also we run into that problem all the time. Like I've waited for medical staff for an hour, like, on
the site, like on the job.
Yeah. Like I one time, first call ever, I got called to a suicidal subject. And at the time I worked at a department where we had like terrible radio connection with dispatch, and they sent me to an area where I had like no cell service. It was just the worst situation possible.
Yeah.
On the way there, I wasn't able to get like updated information, of course, but so it turned into like a suicidal subject to like me driving on scene, and this guy's like hanging from a tree, and like I have family coming at me and like help him, cut him down. Yeah. And I'm like, dang, what the heck? Yeah. So I get there, give him CPR, and I just by judging, you know, like his condition, I knew he was gone, but I still had to try. Right. But the point I wanted to make is I waited an hour for medical personnel to get there. So it's not unusual to wait a long period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that's what they were doing. Wait, because he was having, like you said, a heart attack. So they were waiting for medical to get there.
Yeah. And that, you know, like I said, there's ways to go about things, like, and that's where you rely on your buddies, because you don't always have like the best situational awareness when you're in the shit. Yeah. You know? Right. And you rely on your buddies to be like, hey, let's stand them up. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, what's the ETA for medical staff? Or like, you know, that's why communication is so important. But somebody should have like checked him. If you're not able to check yourself, somebody should have checked him and been like, and a lot of times you fall into that too. Like you don't want to tell your fellow police officer like to do something,
right?
You know what I mean? And like, so that's a whole different story. But
there's a lot of different factors.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked way worse than what it was. But the pivotal like moment was when the autopsy report came out, and that's why they weren't like charged with murder anymore.
Yeah, and people are still outraged about it. People are still calling for them to be charged with murder, and it's like, well, do you even know? Like, you're just saying that because of what you saw. Like you said, if they were to do your research and see, they saw what you saw, and
I saw, but they failed to like look into it.
Exactly.
They're just like, oh, another black man died.
Yeah, exactly.
At the hands of police officers. Like, no.
And like Brianna Taylor, I don't know if you heard about her, which happened shortly after, you know.
Yep.
That was another misconstrued story. She was not an innocent woman, an EMT, a hero, sleeping in bed, caught in the middle of it. That's not what happened.
Yep.
She was a criminal as well. She was involved in a life of drugs with her boyfriend.
Yep.
She was going down that path, and she wasn't an EMT anymore. When did she stop being an EMT? So long when that happened. She had not been an EMT for already like 2 years or a year, maybe. Like a while had passed, and she had been an EMT, and that incident happened. They had a warrant, you know, they went in there. Her boyfriend was shooting at the cops, and she was right in the middle of it. She wasn't sleeping, you know, you do criminal things, you're going to get criminal consequences.
Absolutely,
you know, that's the choice that you make.
Well, we've always said that, like, you don't want police contact, don't do anything that's going to, like,
don't do illegal shit, man.
Exactly, you know?
And that's what I'm saying. They're making her out to be this hero, an innocent woman who was a hero fighting, you know, she was an EMT apparently, and she was innocent, doing nothing. And that could not be further from the truth. And people don't want to see that. They just want to use it to further their agenda of, oh, Black lives are still being oppressed to this day in this country, which is
terrible.
Also, yeah.
It's like the same thing with George Floyd. It probably wouldn't have happened if he didn't make the conscious choice to try to like slip a counterfeit bill. Yeah.
While under the influence of, like you said, how many different substances.
You know, that wouldn't have happened. Yeah. If he was being a law-abiding citizen, he would have went about his day. Yeah. Probably still would have died.
Yeah, from a cardiac arrest. Exactly. That's
probably still would have died.
God, right? That's not.
And the other thing is in the autopsy report, they said like he had like underlying issues too. He had like an enlarged heart. He had like a fatty liver. They said like he had all kinds of like medical things going on. Like he was a 40-year-old kind of, you know, appearance, like slender guy, but internally like he was a mess.
Yeah, yeah. And that makes sense why the heart attack killed him.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And you put 7 of anything in you, can be disgusting. I was going to say
that can kill a very healthy young person. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's what we're getting at is like you can't just trust, first of all, like the media and mainstream media. You really can't. Yeah. They always twist the story to make it the juiciest, you know, and just what causes the most outrage and conflict, because that's what the country kind of thrives on. And you know, the government kind of thrives on divide and conquer. Keep them divided by race. Keep them thinking that they're against each other, and they won't know that the real enemy is us. You know. So I mean, look, it's their plan is working perfectly, and it has been for the past how many years, you know. And it's working, you know. Instead, we look at each other and we're like, "You're the problem because you're a Democrat. You're the problem because you're a Republican. You're the problem because you don't support Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
You're the problem." You know. And it's like, well, look who's making us think all these things. What if we hadn't been like spoon-fed all these crazy stories that aren't even true? Would we even be talking about this right now?
Yeah.
We'd probably be out having a drink together, or so it's. That's where I stand. And like I said, I've tried to like kind of step back from social media now and step back from voicing my opinion so much, because as outraging as it is, and as much as I want to point out the hypocrisy and point out those little flaws, it wasn't worth people that I thought that I was good friends with coming at me and being like, what's your problem, dude? Like, you know. And then, you know, of course I've gotten into it with a couple of them. Yeah. You know, and mostly I've gotten into it with people that I feel are more like strangers that come at me, because a lot of strangers do come at me too, and I'd rather get into it with them, you know, but just to see what it's done to closer relationships, I'm like, it's not worth it, you know. I step back and.
But the other thing too is, are they really? If they really cared about who you were and like valued your opinions, and like, we wouldn't let any of this stuff get between that, you know. So the fact that they're allowing this to happen, maybe it's not their fault. You know, we all have an opinion, and it probably is, but if they can't see that, just like they have an opinion, then I think they're not even your friends.
Good
anyways.
riddance, anyways. Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
and that's
exactly.
the thing is like we could have our own opinion, and how many times do like families get separated by politics, all that religion, all the stuff, you know. But I think you have to go into something like that level-headed, be educated, like do yourself good and fucking look into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. And
just look. Just read.
opinion. Yeah.
Just read, you know.
It's all there.
Yeah, have your opinion, but read. Read some shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you feel the same way, then okay.
So be it.
Yeah,
but
so
yeah,
be
take
it.
everything you see with a grain of salt, because it's probably not the whole story.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to say. I think quite a few, one of our first podcasts, I was saying like, yeah, I like to point out the hypocrisy of, you know, the left. But when it comes to like all my friends and family, everyday things, like, and I know that they are for one side more than they are for the side that, you know, I'm for.
Yep.
I really try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I know I've met you before, even knowing that you had these opinions, and I love you.
Yeah.
And I think you're amazing, and I love to hang out with you. I'm not going to let this shade so people would post all kinds of different things that I disagree with, and I never once went and been like, dude, you're stupid. I never responded to that. I posted my own things on my own page because I was allowed to do that. But, you know, I take it with a grain of salt, and I'm like, maybe they just don't know, or maybe there's a reason why they feel this certain way. Maybe they just don't see what I see, and I just want to help, you know, like, so it's.
I think if we, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I think if we were to apply like a dumbed down version or a simplified version of like kind of looking into things and like understanding that people are different, people like different things. Like, I'm not going to hate you because you post that you like tacos and I don't like tacos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm not going to talk trash about, you know, like,
Yeah.
like this is real, like elementary level stuff, but
I see what you're saying. You
you
have
get
to
what
dumb
I'm
it
saying?
down.
Like,
pretty
yeah,
much.
like maybe try it first,
I
try
know.
the damn taco.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it,
Yeah.
okay.
And then also understand that my taste buds are not your taste buds.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to unfriend you because you post about sushi all the damn time.
Yeah.
Like,
It
probably
does
gonna
for
be
some
annoying.
people. For some people, it does need to be dumbed down like that, you know, which is unfortunate. And that's
but that's
why
how we should approach everything. Like, hey, she feels strongly about this, and I understand. I might not, but let me try to understand this person.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll change, and that's like a back and forth thing. But people don't really care.
Yeah, they really don't. I know.
They're just like, oh, I stand for this. They stand for this, and
if you don't, then you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feelings. It's like they've been saying a lot lately. They're following their feelings and not the facts, which is
yeah. But on a lighter note, happy birthday.
Thanks. It's not my birthday.
No, well, birthday month.
Yeah, it is my birthday month.
Nice.
It was on Sunday. It was awesome.
Oh, Super Bowl.
Oh man, I wish we could pull up a picture, put it on the, press the button. But Joe made
Let
a.
me see what I got. Let me see.
No
That was
picture.
that was your birthday.
No way, it was the best. I told Joe this is gonna be a hard birthday to top because it was the best one that I can remember.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
It was awesome. Joe made me seafood boil, so we had crab legs, shrimp. It was corn. He threw corn, lobster tail,
potatoes,
butter,
onions,
potatoes,
bubblegum
garlic.
shrimp.
Oh man,
Bubblegum shrimp.
Stay right here, Forrest. I love it, man. That was a fun night.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Charlie. My daughter's making a cameo. Charlie, go into the room. I'll be right there to hear about that story, okay? No, you can't come over here right now. Go on. Go, please. Charlie? Okay, well, if she can sit with us, it's okay.
Yeah,
If it's okay.
of course. Yeah.
Then you have to be quiet then and listen, okay? Yeah, it was a good birthday. The girls went with my parents for a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
And I told Joe it's going to be a hard one to top.
Yeah.
I got a gun. I got a Glock 26. Oh, man, you took me shooting.
I know.
It was a good
It was
good
epic.
birthday. Yeah, it was.
For sure.
You want to pause it?
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Shooting, shrimp boil,
Yeah.
crab boil. Sorry. What else?
Yes.
Hanging out, movies.
Honestly, like getting a break from the girls was nice. I mean, I was sad that I didn't get to see them on my birthday, but just the life of a stay-at-home mom it was nice to get a break too.
Yeah.
And so
For sure.
God knows I needed it right in that moment, but it was awesome. I feel a year older, a year wiser.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Any
yeah.
plans for You're 29.
No.
No?
Different. No, no big like insane goals, just to be
Better version of yourself.
yeah, keep grinding, you know. It gets really dull just doing the homeschool thing, and you know, day after day it just gets so not leaving the house, not seeing humans, not for extended periods of time, only talking to a 5 and a 3-year-old all day, you know. It just gets it's taxing, you know. It's really taxing. So I just want to make sure that I take care of like my mental health and just make sure that I'm the best version that I am for the girls now in this season, because I'm sure I'm not going to forever be homeschooling them, you know, and they're going to grow up, they're going to get older, and they're not going to want to talk to me after some age, you know. There's going to be a time where I bug them.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's something I have to remind myself of daily when they're bugging me, you know. Like you just saw Charlie. I was with my friend the other day, and we were talking about that. She has 2 daughters who are 2 years apart also, but they're 14, 13 years old, you know?
A little bit.
A lot older, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you remember these days? I was like, you just can't get a break. And right in that moment, Charlie leans up, here's my ear, and she goes like this. Mom, can you hear me? Didn't you? And I'm just staring at my friend Mel, and I'm just like, Exhibit A, you know, like you don't get personal space.
Yeah.
If they could, they'd go up into my eyeball and open it and say, Mom, can't you see what I'm showing you? So it's just like, you know, that's my life right now. And I'm trying to make sure that I make it the best. I don't want to look back and have regrets and be like, man, I wasn't as patient with them as I wanted to be, or I didn't spend as much time playing with them. You know, I wanted the house to be clean more than I wanted them to be played with. You know, I'd rather. Yeah. So that's a goal.
And it's good. It's good that like, because not everybody like always does like a reevaluation of themselves or like reassess. Like, let me reassess my mental health. Let me reassess, you know, whatever my goals. I want to get better. So let me try to, you know,
like regroup.
Yeah. Let me try to regroup. People just go through life, just living life. And that's good too. But also like, if you want to be better, whatever that looks like, you should probably do some self-checks.
I agree.
But isn't it crazy that like, I had this thought, like every like parent that I've ever talked to, they always say like, yeah, I could have done that better.
Yeah.
You know? Like
all the time.
Yeah. Like I did my best. My son's a lawyer or a doctor, whatever. But like, I feel like I was at home more.
There's always one little
regret. It's
one
always,
little thing.
Yeah. It's always so like as parents, we're always trying to be better and like do better. And like a little sight or like a little breath of fresh air is like, we can't cover all bases, you know, and it's like something's gonna fall.
Something's gonna lack.
Yeah.
You're gonna be amazing in this one area, but something is gonna, like you said, we can't cover all bases. We're not. And
we're our own worst critics and like whatever we do. And like we had this conversation too, like, you know, I'm sure my parents feel some type of way. I'm sure your parents feel some type of way about like your upbringing or your sister's upbringing or whatever. But like, it doesn't necessarily mean you hold their feet to the fire and be like, oh, I'm this way because like, you know, you were working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like
you're providing for the family.
And like, look at us, we grow up and we look back at what our parents did. And I don't think we have anything bad to say. Like, oh, they worked, you know, it's more like, I respect my parents, mad respect, you know, they did what they had to do. We struggled growing up. We didn't have all the money that we have now. Like, man. And like a lot of people, I know that there are some people that had like parents that just weren't there for them. And that's, I couldn't imagine. That makes me so sad, you know?
And
like,
those are the bulldogs, man. The ones that had nothing, no parents, like, you know, and then they still make it out of that. And like, they just like, you know, and they shine.
They're so successful now.
Yeah,
beyond
entrepreneurs and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, I don't know.
Humans
it's just
are pretty,
crazy.
They're resilient. Humans are very resilient. Things that we can make it through despite everything that is kind of formed against us. You know, like poverty, homelessness, drug addiction in the family, no father figures, and whatever it is, humans. Again and again, you see those stories. I mean, they make great movies, right? Don't you love watching the movie of the underdog who just comes out of the ashes? And it's so humans are very resilient, and especially here in America where there's so many. Man, I love it here. There's a lot of opportunities and so much freedom and so much availability to make it if you have like that, you know. will, that mentality. So,
and it's not in everyone.
It's not. It's really
you
not.
know, we have, you know, like we feel like we have an obligation to be successful, you know, or wealthy or whatever, you know, and sometimes we just never get there.
Yeah.
You know, but there are those ones that come from like literally from scraps, from nothing, and they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
You know, they got more commas in their bank account than I do.
Yeah.
You know,
right. Exactly.
And it's just like that willingness to be better, always be better.
That
you know,
drive.
I was gonna say like, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I think it's also based on your like culture, your race, or like what you come from. They were saying the most successful people are like from Chinese descent because they have like this crazy standard of like being successful and wealthy. And there's like tons of, you know, statistics on it and stuff, but it's just how they're brought up, you know, like we want that American dream. We want our kids to be better. And yeah, you know, most of them are like doctors or lawyers or
that's
crazy stuff, you know.
They are. All of my cousins back in Korea are all lawyers or doctors.
Yeah, it's nuts.
My mom tells me all the time.
It's like nothing less. You know what I mean? It's unacceptable. And like, I watch a lot of TV, but there was something that I watched on Netflix, and they were like, no, it was unacceptable for me to get an A. Like I had to get 110%.
A plus.
A plus.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then I also look at your brother. Like, he's not necessarily obligated or like maybe, but the dude's like freaking smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever gotten a B. He's never gotten a B.
And I'm sure he's probably like, I probably should have got a higher A.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there's been times where he's gotten an A minus, and he's like, oh, just because I messed up, and like it's not. He doesn't feel. I can tell it's not from a place of pressure. It's from an inner mentality. He has that drive in him. He's just like, just the way he says it. He's not like, oh, I'm sorry. I wish I had gotten an A plus. Oh, I'll do better. It's from a place of like, I just know I messed up on one test. That's why I got an A minus. Not a big deal. He knows. You know, it's. I think we touched on it. My brother's a next level person, just human being. He's amazing. He's awesome. And it's, you know, I just love him so much. It's all, you know, he keeps his eyes focused on God. You know, he's just so, at such a young age, he already has like that maturity, that spiritual maturity, and, you know,
that physical,
you know, like fleshly maturity, to where he just like knows, and he's not like, oh, I just want to go get drunk with my friends because that's a cool thing to do right now. He's like, no, obviously I know that there's no fruit in that, you know. He has goals and he's reaching them, like it's. But yeah, I mean, based on what you were saying, sorry, I want to go back to that. It is pretty stereotypical to say like, the Chinese people are like, you can only get A pluses, you know. And it's, you bring dishonor to your family, you know. My brother, it's a joke between my brother and I, because he looks like, he's my half brother, right?
Yeah.
So my mom's Korean, and so I'm actually half Korean.
Yeah.
But he looks more, whatever, Asian, Chinese, Korean. He looks more than me, and he's half Mexican, and then we have the same dad, so Chamorro. But it's just funny because, you know, all his life he's had friends that are like, why do you look so Asian? And they've never, I don't know if maybe he got made fun of back in the day, but not anymore. His friends now are like, dude, you're Asian, that's why you're so smart. You know. So it's a funny thing. His Instagram handle is, he did it ironically, his Instagram handle is only A's are accepted. So it's funny that you say that, because he looks super Asian, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah.
You can't pinpoint it. He might look Japanese, he might look Chinese, I don't know, but he looks very Asian, and so that's
your dad has strong genes.
But he's not even Asian.
Well, no, but he just like his structure, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I guess so.
He passed that on to your brother, and like,
yeah, I mean, it's just funny you said that, but like, I mean, I think I remember seeing a statistic also in America that there are more, out of like the richest people in America, most of them are Asian American, not even white. You know, whatever you want to say white is, you know, like. Which again, going back to the BLM, they say, "Oh, it's the rich white man in America." Well, it's like, no, how come no one's talking about all the rich? Exactly. Like, how come y'all are mad at them? You know, they're the quiet ones in the background, really making all the money. You know what I mean?
For sure. And they brought out,
I kid, but really
for reals, yeah. And there was that like that movie Rich Asians,
Crazy Rich Asians. I never saw that.
And then there's like a spin-off show, sorry, on Netflix.
Really?
Send me some money because I keep,
yeah.
But there's a show now that's like a spin-off to that. And there are so many rich Asians in everywhere, but this is like out of California.
Yeah.
And
in America.
Yeah, they're like, oh, my one of the ladies, she's like, my dad was Russian and my mom was from China. She's like, and my dad had like gun and gasoline money and like all this stuff, like weapon money, and like we're just rich.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me, you know what I mean? Like, because their parents were so driven, now like just trickle down to like now they don't even have to work, like their kids don't even have to work,
and even the ones that do, like they really are, they work hard, they're not like they really do, they're working. I mean, they came here to America many different ways and many different at many different times, but the reason why they're so successful is because of the work ethic, and that's what it is.
Absolutely.
The opportunity is there here in America. It's here. Well, it's wherever it's here,
And I'll be the first to say, like, I don't have that. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, if I don't make, 400 million in my lifetime, you know what I mean? Or like
that level.
Or want to be, the president or CEO. I mean, if it happens, it happens. And like, but I'm not like losing sleep over it. I'm not like, oh, I didn't get there, chop off my finger, like crazy stuff like that, I just don't have that crazy ambition.
And that's not what success looks like to you. And that's the thing too, is it's different for everybody. Some people are like, success is only when I'm a multimillionaire. Other people, like for us, like we're all doing really well, we can support our own family. We don't need to borrow money from anybody. We're paying our own bills,
Shout out to the new podcast equipment.
I know, I wanted to mention this. Yeah, I know, right? Like we're good. We never go a week without groceries. None of us. Yeah. I noticed. We all buy our own groceries. We never are like, oh, we're gonna have to not.
Toby, can I borrow some milk? Yeah. Yeah, like send over a couple whatever.
Yeah. I'll send it down on the drone. Just kind of driving down the alley.
I'm gonna send it down on my robot that I made.
Or Miles's new little Jeep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like that's success to us. I think.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, and if you had, I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought too, but we're good.
Yeah. We're super good. Yep.
America.
America's crazy.
I love it. I love it here. I look at other places and just, I haven't been to all those third world countries,
Yeah.
But you see pictures, you can do your research, you can read about them, you can just, the information's out there, and I'm so thankful to be here. I couldn't imagine what it's like. I mean, right now we, like living without like the basic necessities like water and sewer. Could you imagine that being
but it's
forever?
And it's not by your hand.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean?
What I'm
saying? Well, but that's the thing too. Like, what if it wasn't even available? Because like,
oh yeah. And
what if you can't even, you know what I mean? So like just little things like that. Little thing. We're such a rich country. We're so spoiled here, everybody here. But
we're so dumb.
Yes. God. Very dumb.
We're so dumb.
We do not deserve the things that we have here. No. We do not.
No.
So yeah.
No. But what I was
tragedy.
I know. And what I was gonna say is like so it's not because you guys can't afford it or don't want to, have these things. Right. It's just circumstances out of your control.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like you said, what if like in these areas that you can't just get it, you become you just are subject of your environment, like you just are a product of your environment.
Yeah.
You grew up crappy, and more times than not you're gonna just stay there.
Yeah, that's all you know.
Yeah,
that's all you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying exactly my point of why I love it here so much. Like I know I'm so grateful to have not, because who knows if I had been born in in a different country to where we're living in poverty, you know, for most of the country, and it's almost near impossible to get out of it. I don't know if I had the drive to be one of the ones that made it out. You know, I don't know that. That's why I'm so grateful. Gosh, I really am. I love it here. I love that I was born here. I love the opportunity. My parents, you know, my dad met my mom in Korea when he was stationed in Korea, and brought her home, you know. So
your mom was able to come here because of your dad. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. It's awesome. Dang. That's why I'm just saying I'm just grateful for America.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that like you were one generation away from potentially not even being here?
Yeah,
you know,
I think about
like for me, it's probably 3 or 4 generations, or maybe even 2 generations.
Your family's been here for that long.
Yeah. And that's crazy to think.
And my dad even came from. I mean, Guam is U.S. territory. It's territory.
Was it U.S. territory then?
Yeah, it has been. I don't know why it's. I mean, I don't know. It's just our territory. It's not a state. Yeah. You know, so it's not one of the 50 states or whatever. You know, it's just part of our territory. It's in the Pacific Island. It's far. It's very far. But my dad lived there all of his life, and he only left because the military.
Right.
You know, he wanted to. I want to say the reason why is he wanted to travel and get out and be part. You know, and maybe I'm not sure exactly the reason why he joined the military, but. That's where he grew up. He grew up eating fruit bats, you know, over the fire. You know, he grew up fire dancing. He'll tell you he was a Chippendale, but he wasn't.
He's told me that too.
I know. No,
he's like, you won't believe it.
He's a fire dancer.
No. It's like, you won't believe it, but I was a Chippendale. And I was like,
love my dad.
You were? And he's like,
no,
yeah. He's like, I was.
I remember he told me that when I was little, and I was thinking of the little chipmunks from the cartoon, and I was like, I don't understand what he's saying. I didn't get why it was funny. You know? And then, anyways, I remember when I was younger too, he wanted to send me to Guam. Before I knew who I was, you know, before I decided college or whatever, he wanted to send me to learn to fire dance.
That'd be cool.
If I had gone back, if I could go back, I would take that opportunity and go
Isn't that funny too? Like we look at, like, I should have did that. I should have just did that.
Right, exactly.
That's what I think about college.
Yeah, you never went to college.
No, I took like 2 or 3 semesters.
Same.
At a community, not a community college, but it's like a satellite, UNMLA.
Yeah.
But I was just scared. First of all, I was sheltered. I won't say sheltered, but I was a mama's boy.
Right.
Like, I didn't move out till I was 21.
Yeah.
And that was because, like, Lauren didn't force me, but she gave me an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Way off topic. But
tangent.
Yeah. But I just was scared. I was like, I want to, but I don't know what would happen.
Right.
You know, I just didn't know who I was. And that was like last podcast. Just wasn't comfortable in my own skin, and I didn't know how to go about like wanting to do that. And it was pushed or mentioned, but it wasn't like you have no other choice but to go to college. Right. Like, this is what's happening for you. And so I even went to like UNMLA because of the girl I was dating at the time. It was like, okay, let's go. And then
go somebody you know.
Yeah. And then when we broke it off, I stopped going to college. Yeah. But like when I met Lauren and all these crazy, like, cool stories and like people that you met and like, you know what I mean? Like, if I was in the mindset I was now back then there's no telling, like, I would have made so many like cool relationships with like people that are probably super like successful.
You probably would have. Who knows what you would have done?
Yeah, I would have just, I probably would have found myself a lot sooner. I probably would, who knows where I'd be, you know what I mean? Like, and I wish I did that. I wish that's like one of those things I'd be like, man, I wish I went to college. And it sounds cliche, like you grew up and you're like, your parents are like, you're going to wish you went to college.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
But you had to learn the hard way.
Yeah. You wish you would have taken math seriously. But I've never used math in my life. Right. Just to do just to do taxes, to do my timesheet at the end of the week. But
which is basic things. It's not like it's calculus.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like measure the sun
every single day.
But you get what I'm saying.
I do get what you're saying. Yeah. I do. I totally, because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, hindsight's 2020. We had to learn the hard way, and I've told Joe that, like, I'm so hard-headed. That's the only way I learn, which is sad. I wish I had just been like, okay, like, taking the advice of people that have gone before me and listened to them instead of being like, nah, I know better, because I feel the same way, dude. I wish I had gone and taken all those opportunities, you know, before when I was just too scared, and I was same as you, just not really knowing who I was and just kind of being, no, I just want to stay and be where the excitement is in the moment, you know, not looking at the bigger picture. Like traveling really would have, wonder how much smarter I'd be, how much wiser I'd be, you know, like what could I have brought to the table for my kids in the future if I had gone and explored and been myself and, you know, so, but then it's like, I try not to hold on to it either.
Yeah. And like you said, we're doing just fine now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love my life now.
Same.
So
even though I can hear my girls fighting in the background.
Yeah.
They're yelling at each other. So I'm probably over. I don't know. Anyways, I love it though. I love, like I said, I've always thought like the path where I'm at now led me to having Joe and the girls, Mia and Charlie.
You had Joe. Birthing Joe.
That sounded so weird. This is getting weird quick.
Just for the record.
No, Joe's the husband. Yeah, sorry.
And you birthed him.
I didn't know.
I birthed Joe.
Like I said, this is good. It's a good place to stop. All right, thanks for coming. No, really, like I said, I've I want to finish my point at least. I would have never had Joe. Just kidding. I said it again.
For the record, I just want to know.
No, I mean, what if I had done all those things and I never would have had Mia and Charlie, you know? And of course, I never would have known. But still, like, that's what makes me love my life so much now. It's like all those mistakes and all those regrets, like, led me to something so beautiful. So, not mad, just kind of learn from it.
Yeah, and you could be in a, like, had you gone a different way, maybe you wouldn't have been in such a successful place that you are now.
Right.
Maybe you would have got into some crazy, who knows?
Who knows? To the cartel in Guam. No, just kidding.
I'm kidding. The cartel fire crew. Fire dancers.
It's a cover for the cartel. They're not really fire.
So it's like Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders, like Hawaiian?
No, Hawaii is Hawaiian.
No. But like it's Pacific Islanders.
Pacific, it's very, it's like that. It's also, Islander. It's that same feel. It's that same culture. You know,
what else is?
They have the fire dancers, which is similar to in Hawaii. They do. I guess here in America, we're more familiar with like Hawaiian. That's what we think of as Islander. So
like Samoan, they're also like labeled as Pacific Islanders.
Yeah,
like Guamanians, right?
Guamanians.
Like it's probably like that whole.
Yeah, well, you know it's in they're Malaysian. It's part of the Malaysian islands.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, if you want to label it something, it'd be technically, if you want to get super technical, Malaysian. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, like it's the same. Like I said, that same kind of island culture.
Yeah.
Like you make a fire and you cook a bat and you eat it. You know?
Yeah.
I know it's a sensitive subject because of COVID, but I mean, apparently it started because they ate a bat, right? But they know how to cook them on the island.
So
right?
What we're saying is Tom knows how to cure this shit.
How to cure COVID. He's immune to COVID because he ate.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. And like, me being his offspring, I'm also immune, you know? So
True.
No, but I mean, I want to go visit still one of these.
That's the jam. I made that.
Did you really? I like it.
I made that.
Nice.
It's a cool like outro track.
Yeah. That's actually pretty cool.
Do you see how it like goes from like ear to ear? Like,
yeah. We're geeking out over this new equipment. No, this is cool. You should just play that in the background. That's fun. So, you know, like.
Yeah, this is our new talk show.
Blah, 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 blah. I sound way more important with music in the background.
Yeah.
Is that cool? That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, this is some nice stuff, dude. I like it.
Yeah. Shout out to Lauren. Gifted this to us.
You don't deserve your wife.
I don't.
That's awesome.
But
well, to you, this is not my stuff. This is your stuff, dude. I'm here for the ride. This is cool that I get to use it.
This is all of ours. It's like you're only as successful as like your inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we all make each other successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like. And again, successful not being like money or anything like that necessarily. It's like, I don't know, like little things like, hey, this needs to happen. And I don't know how it would happen otherwise without like relying on family or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's important to note. Like we're only as successful as like our inner circle.
Yeah. You're only as strongest as your weakest link.
Exactly.
Type
so,
thing, right.
So same thing, like I want us to be successful. I want obviously me to be successful. Like I want to accomplish my goals and you know, and even though they might not be the same, like I don't want this to be trash and I don't want this to be a joke. So like, hey, you're successful. I'm successful. Let's be successful.
And that's where I feel like I'm at. Like, I know this is your dream, and that's why, like, I enjoy coming and like helping you, and like this is fun seeing you.
Yeah.
Like this is. I even sent a picture to Joe of all this stuff. This is super professional. Like,
yeah, and that's what I wanted to get.
Real. We're finally real. It wasn't real before. Just delete all the other.
Is this real life?
You should just delete all the other podcasts, dude. And like, especially the first one we made. I hated that first one we made.
I know, but
I did not like that one.
But like, it's
we
like
were so stupid.
Yeah, God willing, like we're gonna be here, you know, for a long time, and like going back and be like, oh, that was trash.
I remember being so nervous.
I know.
I didn't move.
like what we just did.
Yeah.
That was so dumb.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Cool.
So the cool thing too is like just going through like the seasons, and you know, we talked about that. Yeah, talked about that like off camera, and just rolling with the punches, you know, and not resisting change. Right. You know, always adapting.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice. And like with that being said, you know, also like taking a week off, you know, with the podcast, you know, having a whole week to upload and edit. I enjoyed doing that, and I don't want to like rush that process. Right. And so just like finding the silver lining and like taking it, you know. Yeah. One podcast at a time.
It's always, everything's a learning curve, right? Yeah. Even in life. And I did want to mention, we should.
Oh no.
I don't know if I should have said this before. We should do like a karaoke podcast. Let's let the world critique us, dude. Come on.
We're gonna have Joe on that one. We'll replace you at that point. That's the karaoke.
That'd be fun. That'd be some Joe.
That'd be so fun.
I know. Yeah. Just saying, you know, like
that'd be
fun things
super
to
fun.
do. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to call you out and make you sing on your podcast.
I'll sing right now.
Go for it.
Name it. I'll start and then you do this.
Oh, and then for me, I'll put the clap
in the background. just
while I'm. Oh, thank you.
I haven't even sang, and you're just clapping for me. But it's cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything that you've done, and like moving forward, and just like having that open line of communication, and yeah, this is fun. It's not a job.
Yeah.
And that's also important to know. It's like this is what we do with our time.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I like talking. I like doing all this geeky stuff.
Yeah.
And this is
pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it was gonna be this cool.
Yeah, and like all this stuff is like touchscreen. Like, it's just disgusting.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's kind of crazy, but
a lot of buttons in the back too that I have no idea. A lot of plugs. Yeah. You know, all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks. So
see you back here. I gotta learn how to fix these because they're hurting my ears. They're too big. My head's not big enough.
Let's cut a piece of foam. We'll stick it right. Or
I wouldn't be mad about it. That's
because even like I have a hat on and it's still like droopy.
Okay. Yeah.
But
it's okay. I mean, we'll fix it.
Yeah, we'll fix
it.
I'll
put my hair like up
in a bun
or something to make it kind of sit a little higher.
Remember when you said, "Oh no, we won't go there."
Oh no! What?
Until next time. But you made a bun in your hair and you made it somehow through TSA. Boom. Thanks for watching. Why are you getting all embarrassed about it?
I don't.
Go comment, subscribe.
You caught me off guard.
That was dope.
Yeah, it was. This is.
Yeah. Well, no, the story was dope.
Oh, the story.
That story was dope, and we'll save it for the next time.
Save it for next time. Yeah.
Yeah. Comment and new merch on the website. Super dope. We have a podcast section on the merch. And so Toby has her own shirt. I have my own shirt. We're going to have our own stickers.
So my face is on it.
Yeah. No, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let me at least pick the picture.
It's a good one. I'll let you see.
No, you got to let me pick it.
Well, yeah, no.
Oh, man. I was joking about the whole face thing.
Yeah. Okay. We have we have podcast stickers. We'll have a shirt. No, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. So
cool.
Mine's already on there.
Nice.
You gotta make yours. Yeah, so go spread the love, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.
Hasta.